It's July 2022. My name is Jimmy Van, and it's time to know your news tonight. My guest knows a lot more about Star Trek than I do, but much like me, he loves animals and he loves a good pint. He is the creator of W. Steve W., and that is an awesome name, by the way.
Thank you
W.
very
Steve
much.
W.
Thank you.
And Wrestle Juice, and he's the co-host of the Going in Raw podcast. This is Steve here. Steve, how are you, man?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me on the show, Jimmy.
It is so good to talk to you. You're one of the guys I very much respect. I was asking you before we started taping, like, how long have you been doing this and how did you get into it? And you've developed a hell of a following for yourself, man. So good for you. And I know this is going to be fun. So here's what's going to happen. I am going to talk to you about the KYN 7 of the top news stories of the week that are stupid, funny, and weird. I'm going to get your reactions. I'm going to ask you questions along the way. And every single week, there is so much stupid, ridiculous shit that is completely real. I don't know what's going on with the world, but I got 7 more. So let's start with story number 7, reported by Pippa News. These people, man. So there's a bride and groom in India, because it's always, most of the stuff that happens in India, China, and Florida. That's just kind of how it seems to be.
Yeah, hotspots.
Yeah. So these two are in India, and they signed a prenuptial agreement on their wedding day, and video footage of them signing that thing went viral. And so my first question for you is, why did footage of a new married couple signing a prenup go viral?
Oh, man. I mean, who doesn't love a good contract negotiation live?
So entertaining.
Yeah. Yeah. It is. I mean, obviously we're from the world of wrestling. We've seen contract negotiations not too dissimilar from prenups turned violent. We've seen physicality. We've seen tables get turned over. So I assume this is just a big, as they like to call it, a scrum. I think that the families couldn't agree on anything, and a big brawl broke out. A referee showed up. A title belt was somehow introduced to the situation. That's my guess. I say just extreme violence, Jimmy.
They brought out Adam Pearce.
Yeah, exactly. He made it a 6-man. Absolutely.
Well, it went viral because they agreed to stipulations like ordering only 1 pizza per month and going to the gym every day. We've got the video from it. Joel, put up that video. So here they are signing it. It also stated that late night parties are allowed, but only with each other. And you have to take a good picture every day. And shopping trips must take place every 15 days. Gee, I wonder if the bride or the groom came up with that one.
Oh my god. Is that can't be a real prenup. That's like one of those gimmick checks that you win from Publishers Clearinghouse. That's not a real prenup.
Well, for his sake, I hope it's not a real prenup. You know what I'm saying?
Man, I hope he brought his lawyer to that. And his lawyer's like, okay, so I can assure you this is not a legally binding contract right here. I think that's cute though. When you're young and you're getting married, you like to have idealistic thoughts. Like, we're going to go to the gym every day.
Right.
We're going to take cute pictures every day. The thing is, getting married, you get older, you start to look worse, Jimmy. And
yes.
And all the pictures in the world aren't going to save that. They got filters these days, so maybe they're thinking that's going to help them.
See, and I'm talking to the right guy, because you're married like I am. You got kids like I am. You and I are on the same wavelength when it comes to this stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
And here's a question I have to ask you, because you are a married man. Did you sign a prenuptial agreement, or did it even come up in conversation?
What am I going to sign a prenup for? I'm a wrestling podcaster, Jimmy. Get out of here with that. I got nothing to get. What am I going to have? My toy belt, my toy collection? No, I didn't sign a prenup. I was even more broke when I got married than I am now. So there would have been nothing. I'd been like, you want to sign a prenup? Fine. You get half of nothing.
Well, I'll tell you a funny story. So when I was getting married, I wanted to do a prenup because I'd made a couple of bucks prior to meeting my wife. And,
Sure.
I just wanted to protect myself, but I didn't know, how the hell do you bring this up in conversation?
Oh,
and
yeah.
When you know, my wife's father was the one that insisted that she do a prenup.
Wow.
Even though my wife's father doesn't have a ton of assets, but I think in his mind, he thought to himself, well, whatever I have, he's not getting my shit if something goes wrong.
Wow. Yeah.
So she came to me and she said, hey, Dad wants us to do a prenup. And I had to hide my excitement.
Yeah. Saved you the awkward conversation. Like, sitting there eating a pizza, there's a good Seinfeld rerun on. Do you want a prenup?
Right. And matter of fact, I might have even melted like I was offended. You want to do what? What is this you want to do?
You're putting this on YouTube. This is revelations right now. Does your wife watch your content? Is she going to be watching this? Be like, wait a second, I didn't know this. Get the prenup out.
I'm going to see if I can IP block this one.
That's a good idea. Renegotiation of the prenup.
All right, let's go to story number 6, reported by Fox 11 LA. Oh, these people. So an armed gunman robbed a Boost Mobile store in broad daylight in Culver City, California. You're in California. Do you know where Culver City is?
Oh, I used to live in LA. So, I mean, kind of. Yeah, I'm way north of that now. But yeah, sure.
All right, cool. Well, he robbed the Boost Mobile, and it didn't take long for police to catch this guy. So my question for you is, how did he get caught?
Oh, man, he tossed the batteries out of those cell phones that he robbed. That's lesson number 1. If you're watching 24 or The Shield or any episode of Dateline, you got to get rid of that cell phone battery.
Interesting. Well, in his case, 2 things happened. The first thing was he dropped a set of keys to the getaway car at the crime scene. That was number 1. And number 2, he was wearing an anchor monitor because he was out on parole. We got the video from the incident. This is courtesy of the Culver City Police Department and Fox 11. Joel, put that up. There he is there, walking into the store. He's got a black semi-automatic handgun.
Yeah.
He walked away with a cool, hard $500 cash.
Oh, all that for $500. That's so he did get caught. I'm sorry. I thought you said he didn't get caught.
No,
oh,
he
man.
Did get
yeah.
Caught. Yeah.
Well, no, clearly he had to take that battery out of the ankle monitor then, man. That's just like a cell phone. You got to watch Dateline, 24 and The Shield to know these things.
This guy, I guess he's not watching enough TV because he's too busy robbing shit, I guess.
I get he's looking for the most lucrative Boost Mobiles, and all he could find is one that had $500 cash.
Because he dropped the keys to the getaway car, the cops found the car, and wouldn't you know, his clothes are in the car. The money that he stole from the Boost Mobile is in the car.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of other shit in the car. And then, as I said, he had an ankle monitor on because he was out on parole for doing another robbery. His name is 37-year-old Lawrence Bell. And he's going to do some prison time again. So let me ask you, I'll start with this. Have you ever had your vehicle stolen?
No, but I have had 2 lawnmowers stolen. This is true. And this is, you know what? I'm not the smartest guy in the world. It's probably why I'm a wrestling podcaster and not like a data analyst or something. But back like 10 years ago, my lawnmower was on the fritz. So I went out and I bought a new one. And no, it wasn't on the fritz. It got stolen because I left it in the front yard because I was like, nobody's going to take this old ass lawnmower. But it still worked. And
was it a push mower?
No,
a push mower or a riding mower?
No, it was a gas one. It was a push mower.
A push mower. Okay.
Yeah. Somebody took it, you know. Hey, if I'm helping contribute to their burgeoning landscaping business, then I'm okay with that, I guess. So they took that one. So the next day I went down to the Home Depot or the Lowe's or whatever. I got myself Sears. Got myself another one. And I left it in the back of my SUV that night. They stole it out of the back of my SUV. 2 lawnmowers in 2 days stolen. I wrote up a police report. And I never heard back because they're like, this guy's too stupid. He's like somebody who's going to steal from a Boost Mobile for $500 and lose their car keys.
Amazing. So do you think the same guy stole both lawnmowers?
It's entirely possible. Lawrence Bell. I got to write this down. Lawrence
Bell. Google it. Yeah, Lawrence Bell.
See if I can do a 23andMe check on him. See if maybe his DNA was left on my lawnmower. Yeah, I don't know. You know, maybe he just took the name of the store a little too literally, Jimmy. Boost Mobile. You can't be going around boosting things.
It's like they're welcoming it. They're saying, come
on in. You can boost whatever you want.
You know, I did a story on this podcast a while back about a guy that stole a push mower from somebody, but before he did, he mowed their lawn. I
didn't get the benefit of that.
Wow, they didn't even give you that courtesy.
Small front yard. I was just out there trying to get some exercise. I like doing yard work because it's a decent form of exercise. And I was ready to do a little bit more the next day, but they boosted my lawnmower.
Wow. Why would somebody, and you said it was kind of like an old, not working great lawnmower?
I think it was working fine. Yeah, it wasn't anything special, but you know, people out in that was my old house out there. And there was like sort of a walkway to a park and there was all sorts. I found a bullet out there once. It wasn't the best. It was sort of adjacent to not the best area because it was a decent little area. But then, you know, some riffraff would come over, steal a lawnmower, steal a second lawnmower, and then hightail it back to their area. Yeah.
What are you going to get for an old lawnmower, for a used lawnmower? Like, are they going to siphon the gas out of it?
I don't know. I honestly think they're probably like, hey, you know what? We got 2 lawnmowers now. That's a business. That's a landscaping business.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah.
Maybe it'd be awesome if they had to ring your doorbell like a week later and ask you
Mhm.
if they could cut your lawn for $20 and you're
Right.
like, I know that unit. I know
Yeah.
that machine.
Well, I like you. I don't like the awkward conversation, like in a prenup conversation. So I wouldn't say anything. I'd just be like,
You
yeah,
wouldn't say
sure. I'll give you
nothing.
25 bucks. Can you mow my lawn? I know it was you, but can you just mow it, please? I don't even want the thing anymore.
Fascinating. Well, let's stick with the car theme with this next one. Story number 5, reported by Road and Track. Are you much of a car guy? Do you like cars?
I like that they get me places, but I've always wanted to be like a mechanic type, but I'm more of an artist type. I'm not really a mechanic type. I draw the stuff with my hands. I don't fix stuff with my hands.
Okay, good. So you're kind of like me in that regard too. Well, there's a guy on YouTube. His name is Russ Stover, and he's got a channel called Autotopia LA. And he owns a 1964 Mercury Comet. And we got a picture of this car. Put that up there, Joel. Look at that beauty
Ooh,
right
that
there.
is
Nice,
beautiful.
fancy red car.
Look at
Now,
that guy.
over the course of 23 years, he has spent over $200,000 modifying that car. He put in a V8 engine. It's got a supercharger on top. It's got 1,300 horsepower. Thing is a machine. It's a monster. So Stover and his YouTube partner, a guy named Sean Davis, they took the car out for a street drive. And of course, they filmed it because they got a YouTube channel. So they wanted to take this monstrosity that he spent all this money on, take it out for a street drive. Steve, they ran into a problem. What do you think it was?
A brick wall.
Kind of. So
Oh,
even though he spent all this time modifying this car and spending a shit ton of money on this car, the brakes were 17 years old. They
oh,
malfunctioned, and they crashed out of light. And we got the video courtesy of Autotopia LA. Put that up. So here
oh
they are.
no!
Here they
Oh
are
no!
on the
Oh,
street. And
oh
look at
no!
him. Look at him. He's
No!
like, oh
The
shit.
brake!
Oh shit. Oh
Oh
shit.
God!
And there, yeah. What? Oh, here's a light. The light's coming. And he's like, brace yourself. Brace yourself.
Oh
Bang.
no!
Look
What
at
a
that.
nightmare!
The power of that car, they
Oh,
say, might have been too much even for a modern set of carbon ceramic brakes, let alone, I think they said they were 17-year-old Willwood stoppers. And I'm not a car guy, so I don't even know what the hell that is, but that's what
yeah.
they were, 17-year-old Willwood stoppers. The car, the brakes couldn't handle it. Stover didn't recognize that he needed a better set, so they failed, as you saw. They collided with a bunch of cars at a light. His passenger suffered facial injuries. He lost 4 teeth. Stover hurt his right elbow. Both men have made a full recovery. Have you, when you're not losing lawnmowers, have you ever spent money to upgrade anything only to break it? Whether it could be a car, could be a house, could be a lawnmower, it could be anything. Have you spent money to upgrade anything or modify anything and then it broke?
Oh man, I'm a big fan of wasting money, to be honest with you. I've got, I mean, you can't see it, but I got all sorts of stuff going on here. I don't know about a time when I spent a bunch of money to modify something. I know, speaking of cars, I had what was it? It was a really, my brother-in-law was going away to the service, and he left us with his Chevy Nova. It was like a 75, or I think it was like a 75 Chevy Nova, a beautiful car. And I was like, oh man, I'm gonna become a car guy. I'm gonna learn about the ins and outs of these old engines, and I'm gonna be out there on a Sunday tinkering with my beer, being the most American I can. And that never happened. It sat in my driveway for a couple of years until he had it towed back. And in fact, the only significant thing, I did drive it around a couple times, and it was a lovely car. But at one point, somebody actually, and this was here at this house. It wasn't even at the last house. But I must be like Boost Mobile, because I must have a sign that says "Take my shit."
Yeah,
Because
apparently.
because some motherfucker took. So they had like these $40, like some of the hubcaps that you just sort of snap on. Somebody stole all 4 of them, but then replaced the 2 that were on the side that were facing my house. So the 2 I would see most often, they replaced those with evidently some cheaper, like chrome looking ones. It wasn't actual chrome, it was like spray paint chrome, and actually replaced the hubcaps on the car that they stole the hubcaps from, which honestly
Fascinating.
confused me more than anything. I don't mind if you're going to steal from me, but don't try to play mind games. That's some like Riddler Joker type shit, Jimmy.
But then, so then, like when you would leave and come back, you would notice the other two are gone.
Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah.
So I guess they're just thinking we just need time. We just need time. Like if he looks out his window, he'll see that they're there. I just need enough time to get away. It must have been
I
something like
guess
that.
so. If he looks out there, he'll be like, "Hey, who are these two suspicious individuals milling about the Nova?" But all the hubcaps are still there, even though they are chrome, as opposed to I think the other ones were black. Yeah, I don't. I honestly have no idea, other than I think these guys were just trying to fuck with me. That's all I can think. Maybe I don't know. Maybe they're fans of a different wrestling podcast.
That might be
like,
what it is. Yeah, yeah,
they're
yeah.
like, hey, let's fuck with this guy. Let's put it on TikTok.
Interesting. So like Chris Van Vliet was around a corner, peeking from behind a house, carrying your hubcaps.
You know, he's great at what he does, but also, you look behind those eyes. That guy might be stealing hubcaps, Jimmy.
Yeah, you got to watch the small town Canadians. You know what I mean? Gotta watch
absolutely,
them.
absolutely.
Speaking as a small town Canadian. All right, let's go on to story number 4, reported by IFL Science. Gee, I can't wait to get your comment on this one.
Oh no.
So, an ICU nurse named Shenedy had a video go viral because she explained what medical professionals sometimes prescribe for a prolapsed anus. That's basically when the rectum slips outside the anus. I'm sure you know exactly what that is.
I know exactly what that is.
So she posted this video explaining what they sometimes prescribe. And she said the treatment, they refer to it as a Sour Patch Kid. That's what they call the treatment, a Sour Patch Kid. And so, Steve, I got to ask you, in this situation, what the hell is a Sour Patch Kid?
Well, obviously, we all know it as a form of candy. And I honestly think that you pop one in your mouth and it's so sour that it makes your butthole pucker back up into its guts.
That is an excellent answer. And not quite accurate in this one. A Sour Patch Kid means that you sprinkle sugar on your butthole. We've got the video that Kennedy posted on Instagram. Put that up, Joel. So there she's explaining what it is, and she wrote in the copy next to it, she said, sugar pulls out the excess fluid from the prolapsed anus, causing it to shrink. And once the swelling is down, it pops right back in. So they literally prescribe sprinkling sugar on your butthole to suck that thing right back in. Now, there's a lot of directions I could go with my next question.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's like, what direction do I go in with you?
We're on the verge of age gating this video. Yeah.
I'm going to try to keep it simple. What kinds of foods do you typically enjoy better if you sprinkle a little sugar on it?
Oh my God. I thought you were going to say, what kind of foods do you appreciate better if you put it on somebody's asshole? That's private business, Jimmy. That's private business. You can subscribe to my OnlyFans if you want to find out. That's behind a paywall. Y'all have your paywall.
Steve's really there. Steve's there. Yeah.
What was the question? What? Oh, a little bit of sugar. Oh,
yeah. What kind of food do you like better? A little bit of sugar on it.
What don't I enjoy? You get if you're getting older, you try to eat a little healthier. You get some cereal like some Raisin Bran. My parents never gave me the sugary cereal when I was a kid, man. I showed up at my grandparents' house once and she had bought the Fruit Loops and the Captain Crunch and all that stuff. And I was like, where's the grape nuts? Like I'm an 80-year-old at the age of 8. And so, yeah, but later in life, I was like, oh man, Raisin Bran is a lot better if it has some flavor to it. So I like to sprinkle a little bit of sugar on my cereal sometimes.
Fascinating. So basically, you buy the healthy cereal, but then you fuck it up because you dump a bunch of sugar in it.
Yeah, and the great thing is, like when they market Raisin Bran as like a healthy cereal, if you actually look at it, it has just as much sugar as the other shit. So I'm really just doubling down on it.
What's your background? Like, is your background European or something, or what is it?
Oh, you mean like a 23andMe situation? I don't know.
Yeah.
Honestly, so I look about as European as possible. Interestingly enough, my mom is actually from Paraguay, so I am half Latino. And so yeah, but my dad is as white as possible. I don't know what, which one of the European countries he stems from.
Right, like 18 eras ago or whatever.
A bunch of really pale people walking around, and I'm the product of that. And then a Paraguayan lady. Yeah.
The reason that I asked that question is because my parents are European, and my mother to this day will put butter and sugar on a sandwich and eat that as a sandwich to this day.
Hey, you know what? I've never thought about that before, but that might be my lunch today. I might give that a shot. I've got an open mind.
If you do, I would love to see a picture of it, of you eating a sugar sandwich. Don't forget the butter.
I'll do an unboxing and a reaction video.
Amazing. Awesome. I will make sure I send it to her. 84 years old. She's just learning YouTube.
I love old people figuring out stuff. Like I could talk. Old people trying to figure out stuff is one thing, but when they're like double my age, I love that stuff, man. I love it.
All right, let's go to story number 3, posted on the Linda Ikiji blog. This is how much research I do for this shit. I found something on the Linda Ikiji blog. So there's a store in a South African village, and they were promoting a competition that came with a whopping 10-pound sterling winner's purse, which is about $12 US. Steve, what kind of competition do you think it was?
Oh man, small village in South Africa competition. You get 10 pounds sterling. Oh man, I don't know what they eat. I'm going to say some sort of eating competition. That's really popular these days. You know, I know South Africa probably doesn't celebrate Independence Day here in America, but hot dog eating contests are really popular. I'm going to say their version of a hot dog eating contest.
It was to see who could drink an entire bottle of whiskey first. We've got video of the winner. Joel, put up the video of the winner. This is from the Linda Ikiji blog. Look at this guy.
Oh, buddy.
This local unnamed resident took up the challenge. He drank that entire bottle of whiskey in under 2 minutes.
Oh, God.
It was 35% proof.
Oh.
Now, after he did that, he is said to have passed out. And according to the report, he apparently passed away. After that, all for $12 US.
Oh man, that's
the guy
a drag.
Did that.
That's a bummer.
Yes. Now I got to tell you, in my core business, because Fightful is not my core business, we do food challenges for cash prizes at my company events. And as a matter of fact, Sean Ross Sapp has participated in a couple of food challenges that I've done at my company, but it's always simple stuff like who can eat a Caesar salad first.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Right.
I don't have anybody pounding back a bottle of whiskey for $12. It just doesn't work like that.
That's horrifying.
Question for you. You mentioned the hot dogs.
Yeah.
Have you ever participated in any kind of a food challenge whatsoever?
Jimmy, let me tell you, every day is a food challenge for me. It's a challenge not to stuff any nasty food I find in my fat ass. No, in terms of like an official, Larson and I, we had an unofficial one. Larson and I told you, we go back all the way to high school when we were in college, and afterwards we'd always play one-on-one. Literally just yesterday, we went down to the courts and played some one-on-one. We have our weekly game. But I remember one year we went down to our local AAA baseball team, the River Cats, and it was dollar hot dog night, and we had our own unofficial eating challenge. And I think I was able to put away like 6, and he was able to put away like 8, which is an odd reversal because he's a real little thin dude, and I'm not. So yeah, I think that was a situation where, once again, we put bragging rights on the line, and I think I came out on the low end of that one.
Interesting. Now, were these like, they have like the big ballpark Franks like this, but then they also make like because you can go to the store and you get the little ones like a dozen of them, but then the big one there's like 6.
Yeah. No, these were not like big like Dodger dogs or anything. I think those are big. No, these were normal smaller size. These were worth $1. I mean, this was not anything special. And then so yeah, no, these were small ones.
And were they with the buns and everything?
Oh yeah, I was with the buns. Yeah, and honestly, there was no like we weren't rushing through this, dipping them in water, nothing like that.
I was going to say, I was going to ask you that question.
We were just enjoying the game. It was like, and I think we just in advance of it, we'll just throw it out there. Oh, dollar hot dog night. I'm going to eat more than you, and so we just spend the entire game like reloading on the hot dogs, and it eventually at like 6 or so, probably by inning 3, I was like, I'm done. I don't want to see another hot dog in my life, or at least for the next 24 hours.
Right. Got you. So it's not like you were sitting there with a plate of hot dogs and you just started pounding them down, whoever could do it first kind of thing.
Nah, man. I can't take that kind of pressure. I'm not a pressure performance under pressure type guy. I need to relax and have my challenge in the most passive, enjoyable way possible.
There might be video footage of Sean Ross Sapp taking part in I think it was a meatball sub food challenge, and man. he literally tapped out as soon as he looked over and he saw another guy that was basically kicking the shit out of him. He tapped out just like that instantly.
Yeah. You know what? If the writing's on the wall and you can't scarf that sub down, then why bother? Why worry about things like pride or ego?
Yes, exactly. Male pride. Who gives a fuck?
Right. Exactly.
Just take the L. Take the L.
It's overrated. Take the L. Bow out with dignity is what I say.
Or lack thereof. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, as soon as you post the video of yourself eating the sugar sandwich, I'll find the video of Sean not eating the meatball sub, and we'll put them both up at the same time.
Oh, perfect. It'd be a sensory experience.
All right, time for story number 1 already. This has been fun, man. I wish I could go an extra hour because this has been fun.
Oh man.
Story
absolutely.
number 1 reported by WCCO News. So let's get your take on this. Back in 2020, there was a man from Brooklyn Center, Minnesota. His name was Dennis Mola. And he reported that his garage and his trucks had been set on fire. And he thought that it was done intentionally because he was a Trump supporter and he had these Trump 2020 flags on his property. Here's some video footage of the damage, courtesy of WCCO. There is the fire that happened right there. They found graffiti on the garage. The graffiti said Biden 2020 on it. And Dennis says that he saw 3 people running from the home after all that happened. Steve, what happened after that? What happened next?
Oh man, I don't know, but I'm gonna take a guess at this one. I smell insurance scam. That's what I think. I think this guy was probably just chock full of debt. He probably ran into Trump's donation scheme that he was running for a super PAC where he's just taking all the money. I think that's what happened. And this guy was like, "Dang it, I am neck full in debt. I need a way out of this. So I'm gonna set this whole place on fire, and I'm gonna blame it on those darn libs. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna own the libs by setting my place on fire for the insurance money." That's what I think happened.
You are absolutely correct.
Yeah, look at that. I win.
2 years later, 2 years later, they found out he did it himself. He filed several fraudulent insurance claims, and he was out to get the money. Here is a clip of him at the time doing the woe is me story, talking to the news. Joel, put up that clip from WCCO.
Our family's safe. That's the main thing. All this is material. It's all material. Yeah. It's not as important as our family.
Oh man. Do you think his wife knew? Do you think his wife was in on that?
I don't know. But like this guy went the extra mile. So first he filed $300 worth of insurance claims. He collected on about 61 grand of it. He set up 2 GoFundMe pages and he collected more than 17 grand from that. So he faces 2 federal charges of wire fraud. I don't know. You got to question if she was in. Normally they have an idea.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, you know what you're getting into when you get married. I was asking my wife over and over again, are you sure you want to live with this the rest of your life? You got to know what you're getting into. I don't know. I'm watching that video, seeing the look on her face. She was just looking down the whole time like, this idiot, he is not going to get away with this shit. This guy, he's probably been concocting schemes since they got together, but she's like, who else am I going to get with? I don't know. I feel for the wife. He suckered his way into that relationship, and now she's stuck with him. But hey, maybe she'll get a couple of years of vacation from this dumb son of a bitch.
You think that she thought, I got no other options, so I got to stick with this bag of shit because I got no other options. Nobody else wants me, so I got to go.
Desperate times, man. Desperate times. Sometimes you get stuck in situations. I can't. If Larson ever does anything to get on my nerves too bad, I can't leave going in raw. We're attached at the hip. I'm stuck with him. If this dude comes up with an insurance scheme, guess what? I'm ride or die, man. I'm right there with him. I might not agree with it, but it's like, all right, this is the bed that I made. I got to lay in it.
That's why you got Wrestle Juice. You know what I'm saying?
That's
got a
like
backup plan.
That's like a 20th of my revenue compared to going in raw, man. That's where the big bucks are right there. That going in raw money, man.
Yeah. All right. Well, you know what? I understand that you are an artist yourself. And as a matter of fact, we've got a couple of your projects that you did. Joel, put up the first one. Look at that right there.
Yeah,
did you tell me how you did that? How did you draw that?
Oh man, I've been an artist for my first failed business endeavor was comic book artist.
Okay.
And I actually published a couple comics back in the day. In fact, so these days I use my iPad. I use Procreate. And
you did that on an iPad?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Really good.
It's crazy what they can do with iPads these days. And somebody had posted that pic, like it's referenced off a picture of Theory and McMahon.
Yes.
And somebody had said that he looks like I forget the name of the artist, but there's a Japanese manga anime artist who draws those sort of really exaggerated faces. And somebody said Theory's face looks like this guy. So I was like, oh, I want to draw that. And so I tried to have it mimic like a Japanese comic, like a manga comic. But now, as part of our the Going In Raw Patreon, you can actually get the Going In Raw comic book right here. I was able to put my my skills to use here. It's a full color comic book right here with me and Larson right there. And it's got all sorts of crazy shit going on. It was, I don't know if I was drunk or high when I was writing it, but there's all sorts of crazy stuff going on in this comic. But yeah, no, I enjoy winding down and drawing some stuff. Yeah.
So on the iPad, like, do you use like a pen on the iPad?
Oh yeah. That's
got you do
here next to me. But yeah, the iPad has I think they just call it the Apple Pen or Apple Pencil or something like that. And it just links up. And I tried it like years ago when it first came out. I stopped in the Apple store. I was like, oh, I want to check this out. And it's like one of the smoothest experiences. It doesn't quite replicate sort of the experience of actually drawing pen to paper, but it's close enough. And you can do so many things in terms of like, you know, oh, I messed up this line right here. I can copy it and I can mess with it and get it just right. So it's got pros and cons, but I'm hooked on the thing. I've been drawing I've been drawing since I was like 10 years old, but yeah, I got this iPad 5 years ago and I love drawing on it. It's a lot of fun.
Fascinating. Well, that leads me to my next question. Just like what you saw with Mr. whatever his name was, Dennis Mola. Have you ever done any kind of graffiti? I'm not going to ask you, have you done any arson for insurance money? No.
Right. Yeah.
Have you ever done any kind of graffiti or artwork in a public setting, public property, anything, even, I don't know, you know, whittling the heart thing on a tree, you know, when you're in high school? Have you done any kind of graffiti or artwork in a public setting?
Man, I love that you asked that question because just yesterday, I mentioned this earlier, Larson and I went out and we played some basketball and he's been struggling finding his shot lately. You know, usually we're pretty even up, but lately I've been on a pretty hot streak. And we've got this a couple of weeks ago, we went out and played and he brought his lovely daughter with him and she was bored. So she brought a bunch of art supplies. She whipped up this little drawing and a little thing that says King of Basketball. So at that point, because I beat him that day, I was the king of basketball. And I had no problem not letting him win to impress his daughter. No, I'm a bit of a heel. I took that thing.
If anything, it probably made you try harder.
Right, probably. Exactly. Well, that's what happened is that now, so yesterday we came back and played and because he beat me last week. I had a bad day. And this week I came back with a vengeance. I won the first game. He won the second game, but now everything we do is for the king of basketball. And so after he won the second one, we played a game of horse, which I won. And then we had a free throw contest, which I won. But the thing is, he forgot to bring the king of basketball trophy. So what did I do? I picked up a piece of bark in the park and then I drew on it interim king of basketball right there.
Beautiful.
So this right here is my current king of basketball trophy. That will be back up on the line next Wednesday at the local high school.
Amazing. It's almost like I knew that, and that's why I asked the question. You know what I mean?
You know, man, you throw it my way and knock it out of the park.
Well, I want to thank our guest, Steve, for doing this. This has been a hell of a lot of fun. Tell the people what you're doing and where they can find you.
Oh, man. So, of course, I've got the Going In Raw podcast, youtube.com/Steven Larson. Also, wherever audio podcasts can be found. I've got my solo gig, Wrestle Juice, which is youtube.com/Wrestle Juice. And that's just me ranting in the camera about various wrestling things. It's more sort of YouTube friendly than an actual podcast. And then I've got, of course, on Twitch, Larson and I are very active over at twitch.tv/Steven Larson. And then I've got, like you mentioned earlier, Steve W, my 2K22 eFed. That goes down a couple nights a week over there at twitch.tv/MFSteve here. That's where you can find me on the Twitter too. So I don't know, just Google Steven Larson and then all of our shit will pop up.
All the shit will come.
All the shit will come. Exactly.
Well, man, this has been a lot of fun. Thanks a lot for your time, and we most definitely have to do this again.
Absolutely. This was a lot of fun, man. I like doing this stuff.